Hello and welcome to this Sober Mindset First training. And I'm just going to wait for people to find me. Once you are watching live, please just throw a comment. Just let me know that you're here so I can see that, I can see people joining. So if you can I'm just checking we're live on the right Facebook page. Yeah. Hello, Valerie. Hello. Okay, good. Lots of people here. Okay, great. Just want to make sure everyone can hear me. I tell you, if we get through this week without one technical hitch, it'll be a freaking miracle. Oh, great. So great to see so many people. Whoa. The workbook. Okay. So many technical things. I am not the technical person. I am really fortunate that I have a great assistant, but sometimes things get glitchy. She did send out another email to everybody if you didn't get the workbook. And there's also a link in the Facebook group, and you can print it off or you can kind of follow along with it. There's the spaces to make notes. Now, the reason I do the workbooks, I'm just going to say this is no ordinary training. This is not my regular Facebook Live, give you some information. This is kind of like my meat and potatoes, like gold standard of training. Like everything I'm going to do over the next 7 days is like my deepest, biggest, most profound stuff. It is the real freaking deal. And I want you to really honor the fact that you are here and that you are going to, this stuff is really going to be hugely valuable. What I want to tell you, this is stuff we all have to know. This is stuff that we should have been told when we were like sometime in our late teens, probably early 20s, that most people go through lives without knowing or understanding that they can change their mindset, and that mindset work is the most important thing that they do. Most of us don't get told that, and it takes us a while to realize that that's happening. And that's what I'm going to give away over the next 7 days. I am going to give you are going to walk away so clear on what mindset work is, what you need to do, how you can change it, all of the stuff that I've done that has revolutionized my life. Now, here's the first thing I want to say. Thank you to everyone who's showing up live. That's awesome. We have so many people. So just a couple of things. I will be live every day at this time. I will send out a video afterwards, and there's 7 days to watch the videos and then they disappear. At the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be live at 12 p.m. Eastern, which is 5 p.m. in the UK and 9 a.m. on the West Coast. There are prizes every day for people who show up and do the training with me. So today, I am going to give away all of these mindset books. These are books, I recommend them to clients all the time. I have The Big Leap. We're going to be talking a lot about upper limits and breaking through your upper limits. I have Mindset, which is kind of the standard. Carol Dweck did a lot of the research onto mindset. Breaking the habit of being yourself. You are the bottleneck in your life. It's literally about how to get out of your own way. And also by my friend Lynn Matty. There's tons of great mindset stuff in here. So how do you win prizes? There's prizes every single day. How you win prizes is show up live, make comments in the comments so I know that you're listening and you're learning. And after the training, there's going to be some homework. And in the homework, all you have to do is post your homework. And it's also in your at the end of each day in your workbook. It's the action item. But don't worry if you don't have the workbook. I'll tell you specifically what the homework is. All you have to do is show up live, comment, and post your homework. And then my lovely assistant, Louise, will pick out a winner every day. We have Amazon gift cards. I have some Soberful merchandise. Like I have phone covers, t-shirts, all of that kind of stuff every single day. That's all to incentivize you to show up and participate. This is not your kind of training where you're just going to be like half listening and playing with your phone or watching TV. If you're doing that, I'm going to release you with love, because this is really for only who are really people for who are really only committed to really change. So if that's you, you are in the right place. So, we did some, before we started this, we did some warm-up stuff, some mindset hacks, little tricks that I've used for decades and I use with all of my clients to just shift how we think, how we see the world. Really little handy stuff that if you haven't seen them, you may want to review. They'll be in the video section in the Facebook group. But over the 7 days, we are going to be doing a deeper dive. So someone said, yay, prizes, being sober is the greatest prize. Yes, I completely agree with you. You're all in the right place, Georgia. Well done. Oh, someone's in the Riviera Maya, Mexico. Ooh, lovely. Is that near Cancun? I was there at Christmas. Just going to have a quick look in the comments. Hi, Day. Philippa's here. Oh, my goodness. Joe's here. Chris is here. So many people here. Hello from rainy England. Oh, my goodness. Hello, everybody. It's nice to know what countries and people are, and whatnot people are in. Carla's here. Awesome. Okay. So I am creating a safe space for you here. And I want you to know, first of all, that I am qualified and experienced to deliver this material. For those of you who don't know me, I am a qualified psychotherapist from the UK. I don't work as a psychotherapist anymore because I evolved into coaching, which certainly suits my personality so much better. I have lots of certificates in emotional freedom technique, motivational interviewing, coaching, neuro-linguistic programming, etc., etc. If you're really interested in that, you can look at it on my website, veronicavalley.com. But it's important that you know that I adhere to ethical guidelines, and I have the qualifications to deliver this material, but I also have the personal experience. And so as I was saying earlier, this stuff has profoundly changed my life. And I want to just say this first off. I did not show up like this. I'm going to be celebrating 20 years of sobriety in May. I'm 47 years old. I did not show up fully formed in this way. The person you see in front of you who is balanced and capable and loving and feels comfortable in her own skin and loves herself and has a healthy relationship and is raising children and has worked with thousands of clients all over the world. That person, I created her. So don't ever look at me and think I'm special and different from you. I'm lucky that I'm just different, because I did not show up like this. This is as a result of doing this kind of work. Now, like many of us, I was forced into it. I only did this work because of the extreme pain of my alcohol problem. Forced me into doing some kind of work on myself. Thank God it did. What a great gift that was. Otherwise, I wouldn't have everything that I have now. And I wonder if it's the same for you. If you feel that having an alcohol problem has actually pushed you into doing personal development work that you never would have done. Because that's what we're going to do here, is personal development work. Okay, so I have tons of notes. I'm going to be referring to those from time to time. So commit to this transformation, show up and be present. This is not something to do half-assed. I need your full attention if you're going to get all of the good stuff. And I'll be checking with the comments and the homework and all of that kind of stuff. This whole program is about learning and taking action. I mentioned about the homework, all of the other stuff, and we're going to be here every day. Okay, we know all of that stuff. Okay, so let's get into it. Everybody's here. We are going to be talking about why you struggle. The reason you struggle, not just in sobriety, but in other areas of your life, is because of your mindset. We don't know this. We have no idea. We often think that we struggle for outside reasons, but the reason you struggle is because of your mindset. If you take nothing from this training but this one thing, you can change your mindset. It's a choice. You need to know that. You can change your mindset. It is a choice. You just need the information, the knowledge. You need practice. You need consistency. And you usually need some kind of accountability and mentor to help you. That's what I did. So you can change your mindset. But we are often the bottleneck in our own lives. We are often the reason that things are not working out the way that they should, or the way that we want to work them out. I did use the word should there. And changing our mindset is the key to changing all of this. It's almost a superpower. I'm going to tell you, it's almost like having a superpower. So I want you to know that you have a choice. And if you are not getting the results that you want in your sobriety in your life, it's because of mindset, because life is sobriety. How goes your sobriety is how goes your life. And we want to stop struggling. We are going to take back our power by changing our mindset. So it works for us and not against us. And you're going to learn this over the next 7 days, how often our subconscious minds are working against us, not for us. And that's why things are working out the way they are. Does that make sense to everybody so far? So we didn't know what we didn't know. We've all just been doing the best we can. You know, we've all just been trying to deal with our emotions in the best way we can. We can't beat ourselves up or blame our parents for not knowing what we didn't know. It's just now that you know this stuff, it's our responsibility that we do something about it. So Sandra said, thought I only had to stop drinking. How wrong. Yeah. I hear that again and again and again, millions of times. And I see that in a lot of other groups, is people stopping drinking and not understanding why they feel the way they do, or their relationships are struggling, or all of this kind of other stuff. And that's because alcohol was only a symptom, and we are going to get to the actual problem. That's what the sober mindset is all about. Quitting, Jessica from Portugal. Hi, Jessica. Quitting drinking was only the start. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Teresa's saying the training is exactly what I've been looking for. Can't wait. Honestly, Teresa, I'm just going to say I can't wait to do this either. This is the first. I've been doing this stuff for a long time, but it's my first time to do it in this way. And I'm very excited, and I'm very excited about the 9-month program that I have opening next week that I'm going to tell you about later. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, you may get triggered this week. You may get triggered by some of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you. Being triggered is okay. Being triggered is an invitation to self-awareness and growth. We can't stay where we are right now. None of us, wherever we are in our lives, I can't stay here. I don't want to tell you where I am is pretty freaking amazing, but I can't stay here. I don't want to be here in 5 months, a year, 5 years. I want more. I want to grow. There is something innate called in us to grow, all of us. That's a fact. Growth is a universal law of life. It's one of the 5 pillars of sustainable sobriety. We are either growing or we are dying. We have to grow. So, sometimes being triggered is actually a call to growth. And I want you to know that this is a safe place to do this. I will keep this a safe place. I will not tolerate any kind of abuse or anything like that. And if you feel that you're being really triggered, please reach out to me. Please support yourself. We're not going to be going into any trauma stuff or anything like that, but I just want you to know it may happen. And I want you, this is a mindset shift, to think this is a call for self-awareness and growth. It's not a call to run. That's a mindset shift. So we're just not here to stay away from a drink one day at a time. I hate that phrase. I'm just staying away from a drink one day at a time. Really? Because I'm not. That just sounds like a whole bunch of effort. Sure, in the first 30, 60 days in my sobriety, I was probably doing that. But 20 years? Can you imagine all of the effort it would take to just keep staying away from a drink one day at a time? No. We're not here to survive our lives. We are here to fulfill our purpose. That's what you're here for. And that is what is possible in sobriety. Who here feels that they have a purpose, a calling, something they want to do, but they're not fulfilling it because their drinking either held them back or their thinking holds them back, post in the comments. Let me just take a swig of water. Tori, my love, if you're stuck, if you're a couple of years sober and you're stuck, that is a call to growth. That is a call to do some deeper work. And the reason that you're stuck is you haven't gone through your upper limit. And we're going to be talking about upper limits, I think on Wednesday, it's 2 or 3 days from now. I'm going to talk about upper limits. Who has been called to grow? Our thinking holds us back. You can change all of that. Again, just before Christmas, I was asked to speak at a sober event, and there was maybe 300 people there, and I went and did it, and it was great, really enjoyed it. Now, if you'd have told me 19 years ago, oh, by the way, you're going to get up and speak without nerves, eloquently and profoundly to 300 people, I would have just jumped in the ocean there and then. That thought was terrifying to me. I did not show up like that. I was called to grow, and I just kept going forward, and these things kept happening. And it's the same for you. All the things I can do now and all the things I can't do now that I'm going to be able to do now all come from mindset work and shifts. So mindset work needs to be consistent, deep, and committed. I'm going to tell you, this is what we don't dip in and out of this when we feel like it. It's a new way of life. It's a way of being. If you think of this in reverse about your alcohol problem, you were committed to it. It was pretty deep and you were very consistent with it, right? It wasn't something that was, for most people, it wasn't something that was like just a couple of hours here and there. You were pretty committed to your alcohol problem. You were consistent with that behavior. So the reverse needs to be true of our sobriety and shifting our mindset. We need to be committed to this. It's no different than exercise. You know, we all know, like I could, back when I was living in Cambridge, I used to run a lot, and I got up to running like 10, 15K. I can't do that now. I can't run 15 kilometers now. I can barely run half a kilometer because I didn't keep running. Now I do other exercise and that kind of stuff. So it's just the same with our mental well-being, consistency. We have to keep doing this stuff. And that's what you're going to learn. So I'm going to be talking about proven strategies that come from psychology and brain science. A lot of it is in these books that are in the giveaway today. So a lot of it comes from there. And I've pulled a lot of that stuff and I've adapted it to use it with people who are getting sober. So all of this comes from really good research. So the results that I have and the results I see in my clients and the results I see in other people all come from one thing: doing the internal work. The internal work is mindset work, which has an effect then on our emotional well-being. It's inside. It's not about changing our outsides. It's not about external changes and moving, losing 10 pounds, getting a new car. It's from internal changes. That's how we get results. We have to do this meaningful mindset work so we can experience deep and meaningful transformation in our sobriety and permanent changes as well. This needs to be permanent. When we do that, then we can have mastery over our emotions. Who would like to have mastery over their emotional life? Put yes or no in the comments. I'll tell you what mastery over our emotions looks like. It's having appropriate emotional responses to events. Something happens that's disappointing, I feel disappointed. Something happy happens, I feel happy. From time to time, something happens and I have a disproportionate and unbalanced emotional reaction. When that happens, I know that that is a red flag, that something deeper there that I need to look at and that I need to do. So once in a while, I'll be like, whoa, that was a little like, where did I have that feeling come from? I wonder what's going on there that I need to change. We're always in a process of growth and change. So when we change our mindset, that's how we get emotional mastery. So, I want to talk about the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. That's one of the things we're going to be learning today. So, we live in two worlds. We live in the external world and we live in the internal world. But we get lost in the external world. When we drink, we get lost in the external world of drinking, relationships, getting, having, status, stuff, other people's opinions. All of that stuff is external world stuff, and we get lost in it. Other people's opinions and what other people think about us is really big, particularly our family of origin. And we will be talking about this later, how our family of origin, particularly our parents, programs us. We are programmed. And we get lost in that and are living our lives trying to fulfill these external beliefs, obligations. I call it the checklist. I've had often very, very successful, well-known people as clients, and they have the checklist. And they have it, it's all checked. They have money, status, fame, beauty, perfect children, perfect home, all of those kind of stuff. And they come to me and they have no idea why they are miserable because they have the external checklist. And we all have our own version of that. We all have an external checklist of things that if it was this way, if I had this, if it was this, then I would feel okay. And we can spend our whole lives chasing after that and getting these things and getting like temporary relief. And then it doesn't solve anything. So it's really important to know that we live in the internal world, and that's how we think and how we feel. And it's really important that we balance the two, but the internal world is the most important one, and that's where we put our effort into. Does that make sense? A fixed mindset is a mindset that is stuck in external solutions. That's a fixed mindset. When we are stuck in believing, I just need to change my job, I just need to move, I just need to lose 10 pounds, I just need to quit drinking, I just need my husband to stop being a jerk, I just need my kids to behave. That's a fixed mindset. And we want to live in a growth mindset. And I'll explain the difference. So this was very much my story. I was the queen of geographicals. So most of you know, if you listen to the podcast, obviously I'm British and I live in America. I have an American husband, American children. And I've moved continents 7 times. 7 times I've moved continents. I've moved house 40 times. 40 at least. I've lost count, there's so many. The reason we call that geographicals, the reason for that, I always thought when I was over there, I would be happy. So I was always chasing. I was always chasing the right job. When I live in America, I'll be happy. Oh no, I need to go back to London. Things are so much better there. When I lose weight, when I meet the right man, everything would be fixed. And all this ever did was provide the temporary, fleeting relief. It never fixed anything. When I got something, it never made me feel the way that I thought it was going to. So we are driven by our feelings. All human behavior is a manifestation of how we feel. Behavior doesn't lie. It's a window into how somebody feels. And you will be able to see this much easier in other people rather than yourself. But if you look around at the people that you know, you'll be able to see that in their behavior. That their external behavior is a manifestation of their internal feelings. And quite often, external behavior is often a manifestation of someone's childhood programming. I don't want to name any names of anyone famous, but you can look at quite a few famous characters and see how sometimes the need for attention or building things or acquiring things, it actually all goes back to childhood, and that was just basically a little boy, a little girl whose parents didn't give them any attention, or it all comes from that. And we're no different. So we want to move from being in a fixed mindset, stuck in believing that external things can fix us, to a growth mindset, because that's how we change and get better. Now, I want to be really clear here. A fixed mindset and a growth mindset is a spectrum. So a fixed mindset is, so we covered a little bit of this when we did the mindset hacks, is someone who shoulds on themselves, someone who blames, someone who criticizes, someone who's always got a story about why things are the way they are. Okay, well, it's my boss, you see, it's this, or it's my spouse. Like that's why this is the way it is. A fixed mindset is there's nowhere to go. Like, this is the story, and unless this external thing miraculously changes, then I'm never going to feel better. Does that make sense? Jessica's saying, yeah, makes complete sense. Constantly searching for things. Of course, need to move my mindset. Yeah. Joanne said, how do we know if it's mindset or we really do need to change job? You know, yes, sometimes we absolutely do need to change a job. But I think what happens is, do the internal work and that becomes clear. Because yeah, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is we do need to leave our spouse or our job or move. Sometimes that is what needs to happen. But when there's a pattern and we're always doing those things and that's the pattern, then we want to stop, do the internal work, and then make the decision, if that makes sense. So we all exist on a spectrum of fixed and growth mindset. We all have some fixed mindset things about certain areas of our life, and we have some growth mindset things. Now, all of us, if you're watching this, you've all been able to do some growth mindset stuff. Now, I want you to think back, all of you, those of you who ever went to college or did some sort of training course or started a new job, like your first proper job as an adult. I'm going to say that most of you, if you're the exception, let me know, but I'm going to say nearly all of you, a few days before, the night before, the morning of this new course, this new job, whatever it is, went through, oh my God, I can't do this. Oh my God, I'm so scared. They're going to realize I'm an idiot. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm going to mess up. I'm going to look so stupid. I'm going to get fired. They're going to kick me off the course. I'm going to fail. It's going to be dreadful. Oh my God. Did anyone else go through that when they started their if you think back to all the things you did when you were younger, when you started college, whatever that, we all went through this, like, this fear of not being able to do it. But we pushed through and we did it because we had to. And usually the motivation is money, because the new job is money and the new education is money. So we managed to push through this fixed mindset, and then we do it, and then most of us find out. I know every job I've ever had, I've got the job and thought, oh my God, they're going to find out. Like, I'm totally punching above my waist. This is awful. I'm going to look like an idiot. And then it's always been fine. It's just part of my thought pattern. So we've all been able to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset in certain areas, but we remain stuck in a lot of them. One of the areas that we can often remain stuck in is relationships, how much money we make. And also where people can remain stuck for a long time is around alcohol and sobriety. You know, going back to day one, feeling like you're constantly failing, feeling that getting sober is a struggle, that comes from a fixed mindset. So the biggest reason you struggle, this is in your workbooks if you want to write it down, is because of your fixed mindset. That's the first thing to write down. There's lots of scientific evidence that when we write stuff down, cognitively, it stays in our brains. So that's why I did the workbook, and you can write notes, but that's why writing it down is helpful. Not necessary, but if you want to do that, you might find it helpful. So the biggest reason you struggle is because of your fixed mindset. What do you believe? Now think about what you believe about sobriety. This is the next one to fill out. Sobriety is hard, boring, for other people, easy, fun. What is your thought? Put it in the comments right now. Sobriety, what do you believe about sobriety? And that will reveal your mindset, because I think everybody who considers they might have an alcohol problem, we all start in but sober is boring. Sober is awful. That's a fixed mindset position. But those of us who have got sober and been sober for a while shift to the growth mindset of like, wow, sobriety is fun, it's different, it's expansive, it's bringing me everything I want. Look at where your beliefs are about sobriety and where they've changed. Someone said sobriety is hard. Someone said it's eye-opening. Sobriety is awesome. Yeah, there's so many comments I can barely keep up. Sobriety is lonely sometimes. Yeah, these are all fixed mind. Some of these are fixed mindset positions. Because if we believe sobriety is boring, where do you go with that? Where do you go with that? How do you change that? So the first step is to bring awareness to these positions. When we don't have awareness, we don't question, these patterns just run. So we want to bring awareness to this, that we have these beliefs. So also consider what you believe about the following. Money. What's your mindset or belief about money? Success. I used to have the belief about success. Success is for other people, not me. That was my fixed mindset belief about success. So when you believe that about yourself, that success is for something, it's for other people, it's not for you, then you shape your world around that belief. And we're going to be talking a lot more about that later. What's your belief about weight? I used to believe that only if I'm thin will I be happy and loved. That's very common for a lot of women, I'm going to say. What's your belief around children? Families. Families was another big one for me. I grew up in with a single parent, only child. My mother has mental health problems. And I would look at families. I would look at people with a mom and a dad and siblings who were happy. And that for me was like a foreign country. Like I would look at that and think, how is that possible? Like and my mindset around that was, that is for other people. It's not for me. And I've struggled hugely in relationships, massively. And changing my mindset was key to having a successful romantic relationship. And I now have the thing I wanted more than anything in the whole world. And I only got it because I changed on the inside. It wasn't about finding the right man. It was about becoming the right person internally. What's your belief about being drunk? About drinking? My mindset about being drunk was, being drunk is fun. Drinking into blackout and vomiting all over myself equals fun. That was my mindset about that. And when our mindset is fixed about that, I didn't question it. The thing is, a fixed mindset, we don't question it. That's just is. Just is. Drinking, throwing up, and going to blackout equals a fun night out. You don't consider that is, maybe that might be something wrong with that thought. There's nowhere to go with it. So when we have a growth mindset, you believe you can change. That's in your workbooks. When I have a growth mindset, I believe I can change. Not right now, maybe. Maybe in the future, don't get too scared or anxious about that. But it's possible that when you have a growth mindset, that you might be able to change. How does that sound to everybody? Who would like to change some parts of their life? Okay, so let's talk about moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So to obtain a sober mindset, these are the 3 things we have to do. And this is in your workbook, so you want to write this down. You may want to write it down on a piece of paper if you don't have the workbook. We have to persevere. We have to embrace challenges. And we have to commit. You did this with your drinking. We all of us persevered with our drinking. Most people, not everyone, but most of us. I remember when I first tried alcohol, it was disgusting. In fact, a lot of alcohol I didn't like. I persevered for the effects. You might have done the same thing too. I was, not really that, I never drank alcohol for the taste. I didn't drink to enhance food. I drank for the effects. I persevered. I embraced challenges with my drinking problem. Whoa. Coming to America when I was 19, 2 years under the legal limit to drink. That was a challenge, but I persevered with that. I embraced that challenge and figured that out so I could get served in a bar. Not having enough money. All of those were challenges to my drinking, but let me tell you, I persevered with them. I committed to my drinking. Oh my God. Like how many times I've continued drinking, like woken up with the worst hungover, wanting to die, and carried on drinking later that day. How many times I've had massive, awful consequences, but I just kept committing to my drinking. And I want to show you that you've done this. So you're just going to do it in a positive way and not a destructive way. So with changing your mindset from fixed to growth, and growth is a sober mindset, you're going to have to persevere, embrace challenges as learning opportunities. We will be going more into this over the next few days, and commit. If you are ready to make that commitment, put hell yes in the comments. Hell yes. Yep. Committed, committed, committed. Yep. I think there's a few seconds delay from when I say something to when you hear it. So I'm just kind of giving you guys a moment to catch up with what I just said. It's so important to know that when we have a fixed mindset, we believe we can't change. That things are the way they are because of external reasons. Now, all of us have to exist within the external limitations of our world. But it's not that, just say we have a disability and we can't walk, for instance, that we can, with our thinking, miraculously walk. But what we can do is change our perception of what it's like to be somebody who can't walk. If your perception is like, I'm limited, my life is going to suck, I'm not going to be able to do anything, I'm not going to succeed, I'm not going to have a relationship because I can't walk, then that's probably what you get. But if you have a different mindset that there's lots of opportunities, that I have other things I can do, all of that kind of stuff, then you'll have a different experience. So yes, we have to deal with some limitations that our external world has, but it's all about shifting our perception and how we respond to them. Does that make sense? Okay. So when we are stuck in this fixed mindset, we don't believe that we have the power to change. And this program is all about giving you back the power and giving you the tools so you can change. We can change one of the things we have to change is the impact, the definition, and the significance of failure. And we're going to work on that tomorrow. That's going to be one of the things we cover in tomorrow's workshop. In fact, we're no longer going to call it failure. We're going to call it feedback. And I see this all the time in my Facebook groups, like, oh, back to day one again. I'm such a failure. And I really try and push back on that. No, you haven't failed. What you've got now is some feedback. What have you learned? Because if you are still trying to solve this problem by doing exactly the same thing, and by the way, trying to do this on willpower, then you are going to not succeed. You're going to get a lot of feedback. So we need to change our definition of what we think. Believing that we fail is a fixed mindset. Believing that we get feedback is a growth mindset. And that's how we want to perceive things. Because again, if I believe that I failed, where do I go with that? If I believe I have some feedback, is the feedback painful and uncomfortable? Oh yeah. But I can go somewhere with feedback. I can't go anywhere if I believe I'm a failure. And that's what happens is when we fail, we start believing I'm a failure. And that's a really stuck mindset position to be in. We also need to change how we feel about effort. And again, we'll be covering this tomorrow. Drinking takes a lot of effort. If you think about how many hours you spend drinking, thinking about not drinking, that's a lot of effort. But if you think back to when you first drank, and the first couple of years, my drinking was pretty chaotic from day one. And I had to put effort into it. Like all of a sudden I went from being like a 15-year-old girl to being a 15-year-old girl with an alcohol problem, getting herself in all kinds of pickles and saying things and doing things and ending up in emergency rooms and all this kind of stuff. And all of that took effort, kind of managing all of that. So again, we have put effort into our drinking problem. We are going to put effort into our sober mindset, and we'll be covering that tomorrow. So we are going to change how we feel about effort. And we're going to change how we feel about failure to get a sober mindset. So everything new takes effort until it's easy. And getting a sober mindset will take effort until it feels easy. So drinking and being hungover takes effort. I mean, just remember, my hangovers were so bad. I just remember all the times like I drank and I was hungover, and then I'd have to work, or I'd have to be somewhere, or I'd have to do something. Oh my gosh, I remember this one time. I was in America with a friend of mine. We were in San Diego, and we were due to fly to Mexico City to go to Acapulco. We were traveling, we were backpacking. And we went out drinking the night before our flight. Got absolutely wrecked, met a couple of guys. Woke up the next morning, just both of us were dying. Like, I don't even know how they let us on the plane. We were so hungover, vomiting into bags. It was awful. Flight to Mexico was like 3 or 4 hours, dying on the airplane. Limited budget. We were on the plane and we were both like, I don't care how much it costs. The minute we land, we're just checking into the first hotel. Like, we felt so bad. Like, the effort of going through immigration and customs and the questions and the light and the sun and the language and the taxis and the asking for the hotel and checking into the hotel and the passports and the ID and where's the room. It felt like I was conquering Mount Everest. I had to put effort into managing my drinking problem. We need to put effort into changing our sober mindset. And by the way, if you're not prepared to do that, I can't help you. If you're not prepared to put in some effort, I can't help you, and you probably need to be done. I'm just letting you know how it is. So everything feels like effort until it gets easy. And that's why, Chip and I talk about this a lot on the podcast. Like, I don't put any effort into being sober or not drinking. I just live my life. The reason I do all this personal development stuff is because it's so freaking rewarding. It's not like, it doesn't feel like an effort. It just feels easy. When we do personal development, we were always going to have a little bit of discomfort. That's part of growth. You can't avoid it. However, it doesn't feel, I welcome it now. I embrace it now because I know something really good is on the other side of it. So we want to be prepared to put effort into changing. The best example of that is when we learn to drive. When I go back to England, we drive on the other side of the road, and most of the cars in England are stick shifts, manuals. In America, they're mostly automatics. So when I go home, which is about every year to 2 years, I always make myself get a stick shift because I don't want to lose the skill. However, when I pick the car up, I have to be very conscious about driving because A, I'm on the other side of the road and my brain is used to being on the American side of the road. And B, I'm using legs and arms in a completely different way. So for about the first 3 or 4 days, I'd say roughly, when I'm in England, I am really being conscious of my driving and effort and all that kind of stuff. And by the time I go home, I'm usually there for 3 or 4 weeks. It's back to being like, I don't really think about it. I mean, everyone who drives, if you think about driving, like once you've learned how to drive, like we don't do that in our conscious mind. We do it in our subconscious mind. If you think about like if you drive a certain way home from work, we all do that subconsciously. In fact, we have near where I live, there's some roadworks on the street that I turn down to. It's a one-way system, so I have to turn down that street to park in our street. And it's been going on for several weeks, like not every day, but they put signs up. Every day, without fail, I turn into that street and go, oh. And then I have to reverse and go around to another street. I know that those roadworks are happening, but because I drive home subconsciously, I always get to that street and I've forgotten because we're just so used to driving the way that we do. So everything new that we do, like getting sober, first of all, we're very conscious of, and it takes effort, and then it becomes easier once we've persevered, and then it becomes a habit and it goes into our subconscious mind and it becomes easy and we just do it on autopilot. Does that make sense? You may want to avoid Heathrow Airport at the end of June this summer for the first 2 or 3 days when I land. Just advance warning. No, I'm really safe, honestly. I have my kids in the back, so I'm really careful. But, I do sometimes sit at the junction going, which way is the car coming? Luckily, there's so much traffic in England. Like, you're never anywhere where there isn't. I just follow the car in front of me. That's how I know where to go. Okay. So a sober mindset is a habit. It's a muscle that you build up over time. You don't go to the gym once and go and then have muscles, right? So those of you who stopped drinking and did one thing, read one book, listened to one podcast, went to one meeting, and then started drinking again, and then told yourself the story that you're a failure. That's because you're stuck in a fixed mindset position of just doing something once, and then you didn't get these miraculous results, and then you think you're a failure and you stay in that position. It's a muscle, it's a habit. We have to persevere, we have to put in effort, and we have to keep doing it. And I will give you all of those tools. This will affect not just your sobriety, but every area of your life. In fact, the stuff that we're going to be covering the rest of the week is going to affect every area of your life, not just sobriety. It's going to affect your relationships, how much money you make, your job, your friendships, your weight, how you see the world. It affects everything when we shift our mindset and we reprogram our subconscious mind. So most of us wait for a crisis to change. Our back needs to be up against the wall and we have no choice. So we can make a decision any day to do this work. Don't wait for the crisis. Do it now. We can either do this work in pain and suffering or joy and inspiration. It's up to us. We don't have to wait. You have information now. You know stuff that you didn't know before. And if you stay through the whole 7 days, you are going to know so much stuff. You can't unknow this. And you know that you can do this work now. Or you can just wait till it gets really, 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 really painful, and you can do it then, and then it's just going to be a bit harder. So we want to do this work as soon as we're aware that this is work that we need to do. And kind of to circle back to what I was saying at the beginning, most of us didn't know what we didn't know. We just didn't know that we had to do this. We didn't know that we had to make these changes. We didn't know that we could get emotional mastery. We didn't know that we could change our mindset. We didn't know that things could be different. We didn't know that we had a fixed mindset and actually the problem isn't the external world, the problem is the internal world. We were just doing the best we can. But once we know, you can't unknow this stuff. And once you have this knowledge, then it's your choice whether you act on it or whether you don't. Is it going to be hard? Yeah, sometimes it is. Is it going to be uncomfortable? Yeah, you can't avoid it. Sorry. I kind of think that there's something almost in our culture. I almost think it's aligned with how many painkillers we dish out to people, where it's like we have this faulty fixed mindset that nothing should ever be painful or uncomfortable, that we should be spared that all the time. I see that in parenting. I see parents trying to rescue their children from something difficult. You know, when a kid learns to walk, when they're babies, you know, when they're whatever age, 9, 10, 12 months, and they're beginning to walk, it takes a lot of effort and it's really uncomfortable. They fall down, they hurt themselves sometimes. And of course, it's my job to make sure that they don't like endanger themselves or hurt themselves badly. But are they going to take some tumbles? Yes. I have to allow them to have the learning experience of walking. I can't take that away from them. Otherwise, I'll be taking away walking. Like, nobody ever looks at their child and looks at the effort and how many times they're getting feedback about their efforts. And kids are designed like this. Like, they're figuring it out and getting feedback all the time about how to walk, how to do that stuff. Nobody ever looks at a kid and goes, maybe they're not a walker. Like, maybe they're not a walker. We let them do it. But as they get older, parents are constantly coming in and rescuing kids from uncomfortable growth and learning opportunities because the parents can't stand the discomfort. We are going to be uncomfortable. If you want to learn and grow, you are going to be uncomfortable. It's okay. You're going to survive it. And on the other side of it is some really, really, really good stuff. So let's not wait to do these changes. Let's decide that we want to do them now. And let's make the commitment to ourselves. So the homework for today is revealing to yourself your fixed mindset around alcohol and sobriety. This is the action item. This is the homework. There will be a post that will pop up in the Facebook group in a few minutes, as if by magic. And it will ask you, what is the story you tell or have told yourself about alcohol and sobriety? Just put your homework in, a couple of sentences. We are going to reveal ourselves to ourselves. This is the first step in changing our mindset. We have to reveal ourselves to ourselves. We have to stop and we have to pay attention and we have to have a look and go, whoa, is that really what I've been thinking and believing? Pop that in. If you showed up, and over 100 of you showed up, 117 of you guys showed up, and you posted your homework, Louise, my lovely assistant, will pick a winner at some point in the next few hours. We'll give you, like, Louise, let's give them till tomorrow morning. Let's give them tomorrow morning US time. Louise and I are completely different time zones, but let's give like at least 12 hours for people to do that. Certainly before tomorrow's training, when we'll have a whole bunch of new stuff to do. What are we going to be doing tomorrow? Tomorrow, we are going to be looking at the meaning of failure and effort and going deeper into what a sober mindset is. We're going to be looking at your blame story and how we get stuck in our stories. We are going to be looking at changing how we view like the stories that we tell ourselves that keep us stuck. And we're also going to be looking at willpower and how willpower is pretty useless with everything, including getting sober and anything else we want to change. Day 3, we're going to start going into, day 3 is we are ruled by our emotions because of our mindset. So we're going to be looking at the link between how we feel and our mindset. We are going to be looking at what happens when we try and change, and we're going to be looking at upper limits. Oh, I'm so excited to teach you about upper limits. Upper limits, so important. We all have upper limits. It is a life skill getting through them. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And then whenever you come up against them, because you always will, we always do, it's part of growth, you'll be able to burst through all of them. So how was this so far? Who learned something interesting? Who had an aha moment? Who had a little breakthrough? Put it in the comments, let me know. Philip is saying, my fixed mindset is believing that I go at things with a lot of mojo and then fall off the cliff, up and down, not consistent. That holds me back. So Philippa, part of that is your fixed mindset about things. You sabotage yourself, and it's because you're upper limits, Philippa. And I'm going to teach that on Wednesday. Watch it. That's all that's happening. Once you know how to change it, you stop. I kind of used to have that pattern. I don't anymore. Sue is saying the story she tells herself is, oh, you'll never change. Fixed mindset. That's come from probably something to do with your parenting there. Someone said, I told myself that there was nothing to do if I didn't drink. I felt the same. I got sober when I was 27, and I had this boyfriend once, and he wasn't a very big drinker, and I was. And we were spending the weekend together, and we went out Friday night to the pub, and the Saturday morning, he said, oh, what do you want to do? And I was like, strange question. Go to the pub, of course. And he looked at me like, really? Like, to the pub all day? And I'm like, yeah, to the pub all day, because it's Saturday. And I had no idea what you did when you were 27 years old and you didn't drink alcohol. Like, I just didn't think, like what does anyone do? How does anyone have fun? That was just a fixed mindset position. When that shifted, oh my God, I can't even imagine having enough time to drink or be hungover. Like, I'm way too busy. Teresa's saying, thanks for all this, Veronica. It was brilliant. It's exactly what I was looking for. Yay, to help me. You've answered my prayers. Thank you. Well, Teresa, we have literally just dipped our toes in. The really juicy stuff is coming up in the next few days. Carol said, this is very good. Thank you. Siobhan, yeah. Tori saying, is this a private group? It is a closed group, so only members can see what is written here. And it's also a temporary group. It will be archived at the end of this training. Great, thank you. Audrey saying, I love my new superpower. Debbie got some good things. Yay! Can't wait. Upper limits. Oh my God. Upper limits. Just that alone will blow your mind. So important. Joanne, loved it. Terrific first session. Fabulous. Thank you. Living in the past and blaming someone else. Valeria, absolutely. Living in the past and blaming someone else. You know, what's really sad, and I think this is my mission in life, so many people go through their lives living but never being fully present to who they really are. And my job, how I describe it, is I return people to themselves. And if that's what you want, show up here tomorrow. I am going to show you how to be returned to yourself and live fully present in the life that you're meant to live. I want to leave you with this. I just want to repeat it. I did not show up like this. I was not born this way. This is a result of me doing the deep internal work. There is nothing special and different about me. I am no different from you, not at all. I'm just a bit further down this road. And what worked for me will work for you. So get rid of any of that self-talk that, oh, look at her, she's so lucky and she knows because she's a therapist. I did this inch by inch by inch, and so can you. And it's really, really important. Erin's saying, I'm so excited for this. Thank you. Okay. Awesome, people. Okay. Join me same time tomorrow, same place. Come with your workbooks, come with a notebook. We are going to get into some super groovy stuff tomorrow and Wednesday and the rest of the week. There's so much to learn here. If you have any questions, put it in the comments. Don't forget to post your homework. Post your homework, and lovely Louise will pick out a winner tomorrow and we'll let you know who that is. We'll post it in and then we'll arrange getting the prizes to you. All right, lovelies, take care. Bye-bye.